please let me introduce our first impressive speaker tonight, Anne Jessopp, who is the CEO and Deputy Master of the Royal Mint, which is a very, very grand title of an organisation that has been around for over 1,000 years in various forms. Anne was in 2018 was appointed the first Chief Executive of the Royal Mint, and I think impactful for such an important organisation being based in Wales, but actually the transformation of an organisation that is not just about producing coinage and money for the UK, but actually that wider transformation of being the breadth of goods and services that it offers to society itself. Anne's going to speak a bit about, obviously, her background and her career, but particularly that intersection between people, technology and innovation, and actually how you can bring all these together for major business transformation. So please let me hand over to Anne Jessopp. See you.
Good evening, and thank you for the warm introduction. It's wonderful to be here today to celebrate International Women's Day, and it really highlights the incredible journey and achievements of women in science, technology, engineering and maths. Thank you to Technocamps and Swansea University for inviting me to take part. I know that I was reading a report recently that identified that 21% of the gender pay gap is due to industrial segregation. That's where women are working in less well-paid sectors. So organisations like Technocamps and all the people here can play an important role in attracting women to the STEM sector, which in turn will contribute to reducing the gender pay gap. Really important role, I think, for everyone in this room. With that in mind, I've been asked to share details of my professional journey and show that there's more than one way to succeed. I'll also tell you a little bit about the Royal Mint. And you can't stop me. It's difficult for me to speak about myself, but you can't stop me speaking about the Royal Mint. Be here all night. I firmly believe that there's no single model for success. It doesn't matter what you've studied or where your career started. What matters is you. It's all about your ability to remain curious and to seize opportunities. I've taken a really unconventional role to become the Chief Executive, and yes, Deputy Master of the Mint, very strange title. I'm not a scientist myself, but I'm actually following in the footsteps of a very famous scientist, because in the 1700s, Sir Isaac Newton actually did my job. He was the Deputy Master of the Mint. But I am the first ever female Chief Executive of the Royal Mint in its 1100-year history. So my appointment was a historic and symbolic step forward. Back when I was a student, I did economics at university, and I picked up some of the most important skills I would ever learn. Sorry to the lecturers here, it's nothing about economics. And I didn't realise at the time, but it's really been a really great basis for my career. I learned how to analyse situations, how to see the big picture, and most importantly, how to work as part of a team. I've used these skills all the way through my career. After graduating, I joined Rolls-Royce Aero Engines graduate HR scheme. I first experienced manufacturing. It was a great grounding, but at the time I was in HR, and that seemed incredibly distant from the commercial heart of the organisation. Way back there, we were talking earlier with the lady here, and when I actually started, most ladies here won't believe that or ever remember it, but ladies never wore trousers. We had to wear skirts, even in manufacturing. Thankfully, it's changed. So I decided to spread my wings and move to Procter & Gamble. It was there that I learned the strategic difference that HR can make. People often underestimate HR, but its power is transformative. I've discovered a passion for making a difference and for leading change and transformation. I led an innovative total quality programme and discovered one of the important things as a young manager is that those people who know their job best and know how to do their job and make improvements are the very people who do their jobs, aren't their managers. So really as a manager I had to learn how to encourage those people, how to give them the right circumstances, and that stayed with me all through my career. When I look back now, I can clearly remember two female HR directors who inspired me. They were integral to the business and the senior team, and they led with real self-belief, determination and support, and having them as role models really helped. Because of the organisations I just by total chance ended up working in, I began to focus on organisations with a really rich history who were undergoing strategic change. But more specifically, organisations where cultural change was an important part of their strategy. It was during that time that I started to work with a strategy facilitator. I brought them into the business to help us with our strategy. And despite this area being new to me, I eventually progressed to take on that role myself. When I first saw the experts leading the strategy work, I used the word experts because they were experts, I never thought I could do it. But I was really curious and learned how to. I pushed myself outside my comfort zone and found that I could do it. I enjoyed it, and actually I was quite good at it. But sometimes I listened to my internal saboteur lurking in the background, trying to convince me that I simply wasn't good enough, or that someone else could do it better. But that just wasn't true, and I proved to myself, and this, I think that was a major step for me, because it really meant that I could take on an opportunity, and I really believe had I not taken on doing the strategy, I would have never been considered to be the chief executive. I never wanted to be a chief executive. It actually opened up an opportunity for me. And I really gained confidence by doing something new and really pushing myself. Something I would say to anyone who feels self-doubt is to find your role models. We're all more capable than we think we are, and we're all capable of doing incredible things. We just need to tune into the voice that moves us with instinct, not with fear or self-doubt. When I was initially appointed to the first female chief exec, there were lots of media attention, and in the beginning I thought, I'm not going to participate in this. They wouldn't be asking me if I was a man to do media, would they? I'm just getting on with the job. But I quickly thought I needed to be a role model. People need to understand that actually just because they've never been a chief executive as a female in the Royal Mint for 1100 years, actually change can happen. And therefore I've started to do work in doing that. I wonder how many of you here have thought about who you may be a role model for? Perhaps in this room, there's quite a lot of you who've thought about it. I know you've built a brilliant ecosystem to inspire more people to go into STEM work. But if you sat there and you haven't thought about who you're a role model for, my advice is to give it some thought. Sometimes it only takes one spark that someone sees in you for them to think, I can do it too. I really do believe there's a magical power that comes to life when you yourself start to think that way. Think of yourself as a role model. It's important to remember that we can't hope to inspire others until we look at ourselves and decide to be our own champions. Be your own champion. I won't try to explain it, I'll just ask you to give it a go. So how did I end up at the Royal Mint? Well, a family move to Wales meant I was lucky to join the organisation in 2008. And not many HR leaders have gone on to run companies as a CEO. How did I do that? Well, the CEO at the time was a great mentor, and he really wanted me to think about taking on a commercial role. And at the time I thought, I'd love to be in HR. My saboteur again was saying, look, you're no expert in actually running a commercial business. But he persuaded me to do it on a temporary basis. And I absolutely loved that job. One of the things that really surprised me was how many of the skills that I got and I gained in my career were transferable. And that's really important. I realised that earlier in my career I placed limits on myself by expecting myself to be an expert before I could give something a go. I've really learned that you don't have to be an expert to try something new. I've been interviewed a number of times about the fact that I've been in HR and chief executive, and not many people get to do that role from HR, but there are more now. And the reason I think there's more people who've been in HR who are now chief executives is the role of the chief executive now is You've got a team of people. The world is changing so quickly that you have a team of experts. You could never be an expert in all of those. You've got to be an expert in leading, bringing out the best, challenging, creating that air of creativity for that team. And I think that is the skills that people may have got from lots of other functions other than finance, which is normally the role that people had before they went into becoming the chief exec. So when I took on the role of chief exec, it was my mission to transform the business. I wanted the role in to think imaginatively and strategically and to really secure a future. So let me tell you a little bit more about us. So 10 years ago, really, we just made coins, currency, both for the UK and overseas. And that was our core business. We made all our money from that. And we were set up by Alfred the Great in 886. Remember that date for later. But if I asked here, who used a coin in the last week? Okay, hardly any. Yeah, hardly any. So that's absolutely right. That's what's happening. We love coins at the moment. We love it that people carried on using them, but they're just not. So before the pandemic, it was reducing about 5% reduction every year, and then during COVID, it actually reduced by about 40%, and it's never gone back. So making the UK coins is a very small amount of our work now. So we had to think about how we could transform, how we could diversify. And what we wanted to do, and this is part of what I did in my own career, I think, is really make sure that I understood what the DNA was of the Royal Mint. What did we stand for? What was important to us? And in any transformation or any diversification, I think it's really important to build it on that type of DNA. If you do that, well, people understand why you're doing it, and it's much easier to take them with them. If you do that, the customers understand why you might be going to a different business and are happy to say, right, okay, this is what I think about the Royal Mint, I trust you to be in that type of business as well. And so for us, it was absolutely all about precious metals. That's what coins were made of 1100 years ago. But British craftsmanship and sustainability underpinning everything that we're doing. So that's absolutely the core of our transformation. So what does the Royal Mint look like in 2024? Well, probably surprising to lots of people. So we're a dynamic organisation operating a portfolio of 6 businesses now. So we moved from just doing the UK coins. And we've extended beyond the traditional coinage into many more other areas. From precious metals investments listed on the London Stock Exchange to the luxurious contemporary jewellery range that we sell in our Burlington Arcade shop in Mayfair. And our turnover last year was about 1.9 billion. We're a global player with customers in 121 countries, and our export revenue is 1.3 billion. So we actually make more money overseas than we do in the UK. Our largest business last year was selling gold to investors, and we do this in a number of ways via DigiGold, where you're buying a slither of gold, which we keep in our vault, but you do it digitally, to our little treasures, where grandparents are buying gold for their grandchildren, and our ETF, which is the stock exchange product, which is on, I think it's 8 stock exchanges around the world. We also have an award-winning tourist centre in Lantrissant, which ranks amongst the top 10% of attractions worldwide for customer experience. If you haven't been, please go there, it's a great day out. But it's not just what we've done, it's about the way we've done it that's been important. And I said at the start of our transformation, we set about understanding our DNA and leadership in precious metals. And so what does that mean? I know you all want to have your dinner, so I'll be quick, but I want to tell you about a couple of our new projects. So sustainability is core to our strategy, and we've combined that with precious metals. And for the scientists in the room, we've done something really exciting. So as an organisation, we knew going forward we had to find a recyclable source of precious metals. We also needed to find new businesses. And so we partnered with a Canadian green tech startup company. They invented the chemicals that actually, for electronics, take out all the metals out of waste electronics, and we invented the factory to make that chemicals work. So I don't know, you probably don't know, but the UK is the second largest producer of e-waste, and at any one time, 7% of the world's gold is in discarded electronics. So it's a really important part of sustainability. So you can imagine, there I was at the board meeting saying, actually we found this chemical that works. You know, it takes gold out of electronics. And we had somebody on our board who was from the gold industry, and they were alchemy, it's just alchemy, it's not going to work. So our chemists and our chemical engineers worked for 6 months testing it. And at the end of that, it worked. Fantastic. So then the task was to the engineers, right, this great company in Canada knows the chemicals, they don't know how it can work in the factory at major scale. So we gave the task to our engineers to design this factory, and that's what they've done. And I'm delighted to say that all the elements of the factory are in place now, and it's in Lantrisant, and it will open on the 1st of April. And the great thing is that those engineers who designed the plan, were the engineers who design and do the work on coinage, and also those people who worked in the circulating coin area, which is reducing in size, as you can imagine, because nobody's using coins. Actually, it's very similar jobs, so they are moving over into this new business. We've got the UK licence to do this. We've also got the international licence to do it as well, so you'll see us expanding worldwide. And in addition, this chemical, with some tweaks, can do other types of recycling, and we'll be expanding into those. So we've done some really hard work, but we've been lucky to be in the right place at the right time, really focusing on what we can do that's sustainable, but actually is a win-win and will generate lots of income for us. And I think that's a great model for how we are all going to work together to solve sustainability issues. And it doesn't always mean that it's just spending lots of additional money. It can be a revenue generation. So we're using this, the gold, and we're already doing that on a small scale, to use in our second business, which is our luxury jewellery business. And again, I don't need an engineer to come and work for me, because I said to the engineers, we really want to make jewellery in the UK. Because, I don't know if you know, but most jewellery is made in Thailand, all in the same factories. You'll have really high-end jewellery made next to not so high-end jewellery. And we really wanted to bring the skills back into the UK. We said to the engineers, right, how can we make jewellery? We don't know how to make jewellery. And different engineers, it's a different group of engineers, they worked really hard, and they themselves invented a new way to make jewellery. The great thing is that it uses our machinery that we've already got, that we used to make coins, but also the jewellery is 30% stronger than normal jewellery, and it's much shinier. And our brand is all about core jewellery pieces that you would pass on to down in the family, and therefore the fact that it is really strong is really important. We've got some really great famous customers already, like Uncle John, etc. And we were on the front of Tatler the other day, so that's in my office next to my desk. Really proud of that. So, what do you think we call our jewellery range? Can you remember? 886. So, if anybody's interested to go and look up, we are online as well. I'm so proud of the approach that we've taken with our skills engineers. They've been fantastic. They've really diversified themselves and their skills. By using their core skills, they've really helped us move forward as an organisation. And we're really committed to British craft and are involved with the Heritage Craft Association. Do check them out because they've got a list of endangered crafts from wainwriting to glass ironmaking. And we support them in their precious metal development. We've also got our local energy centre. You might have seen the picture that's come up of the daffodil we've got 2 turbines painted as daffodils. So at TRM, we really believe that a diverse workforce drives innovation and fosters a change of culture, which is why one of our core values is that we all matter. Our focus is really on inclusion, and for my definition of inclusion, it's really about creating an environment where everybody feels that they can belong. We've got a 50-50 gender representation on our executive board and our executive leadership team, and on our leadership team, actually we've got 70% women and 30% guys. With really powerful female representation right across the business, manufacturing, chemical analysis, sales, design, finance, but we'd like more, particularly in the engineering area. And I'm really proud to say that a number of those people have really grown up in the organisation and have really become role models for other people in the organisation. So I hope this has helped to see how the Royal Mint has changed, a little bit about how I might have changed in my career. And I'd leave you just with a couple of thoughts, which is that, our journeys may not seem straightforward. In fact, we should expect they're not going to be straightforward. Not exactly as we expect. We should be looking outwards and really being curious to always look for opportunities, because you never know where they may end up. But we all should own our own journey. We should be our own role models. We should be our own champions and really look for our own best opportunities. So my advice is be curious and be your own champion. Thank you.